Let's take two. Helps when you unmute your mic. That's the beautiful thing about live streaming, is that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So again, welcome to the Fluffy Radish live stream. We have lots of amazing fun planned for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. I see a lot of you in the chat, you legends. Thank you so much for attending today. As always, I would like to start off with some shout outs. Fluffy Radish is a proud member of the FDM Network. That stands for Fortnite for Dads and Moms. Such an amazing family and group of streamers and gamers led by, well, we'll get to that in a second. I'd also like to shout out the weekly Pennsylvania Proud Product of the Week.
Pennsylvania Proud.
So this week we're chilling out on some Reading Draft Pumpkin Spice Soda. And the cool thing about Reading Draft is they are made with pure cane sugar. We're not drinking corn. No one really likes corn, right? They were founded in 1921, and again, they are a full Pennsylvania company out of Reading, Pennsylvania. They have so many amazing flavors, and again, today's flavor will be pumpkin spice, which is a seasonal release. So again, shout out to Reading Soda Works. All right, let's pop this. See this? Reading Soda Works. I wish I had thought of being able to ship this out to some of our guests today, but you know what? You take what you get. All right, this thing's open. It smells like pumpkin pie. I'm going to take a swig. That is really, really, really good. It's burning my throat. So the cool thing about Reading Soda Works, they do what's called slow carbonation, which means they slowly infuse it with bubbles. That works really good with cream sodas and things like that. It keeps them creamy, keeps them smooth. So most normal sodas, it's a big burn up front, which means that it's, high carbonation. So anyway, shout out to Reading Soda Works. And today we have a special guest. We're going to be doing an interview today. So let's jump into the interview. Awesome. So I'd like to welcome our special guest today, a creator who's built one of the most amazing Fortnite custom communities out there. He's the founder, fearless leader of FDM, or Fortnite for Dads and Moms. Let me read his bio real quick. Snappernickel is first and foremost a proud father of a 13-year-old son named Robbie. That is so awesome. Snap is also the leader or founder of the largest parental Fortnite collective in the world, FDM, or Fortnite for Dads and Moms. FDM's been described as one of the largest, and I quote, one of the largest age 35 plus Fortnite content creators on Twitch, end quote. Snap's partnered on Twitch. He's live every Monday and Friday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern for his official customs. Absolutely fantastic approach Snap has, where he'll play the customs, right? And the games will be going on and he commentates over it. It's absolutely fantastic. In addition, Snappernickel is an avid sportsman. Baseball, golf, basketball, and so on. And Snappernickel is joining us from Maine. So he's super country, and according to his bio, he loves to hunt, fish, and cook. Won't you please join me in welcoming Snappernickel?
Hello.
Hey, Snappernickel. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today, man?
I am fantastic. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Did you have a good Thanksgiving holiday?
I had a great Thanksgiving. Just me and the boy. I'm still stuffed. I think I'm still full. Still today on Thanksgiving.
Still stuffed? Are you still working your way through the leftovers?
Still today. Oh, for sure. I did extra green bean casserole just so I could go back to it 6 times.
That is 100%. So awesome. I cooked green bean casserole this year, and the kids were it was like dropping a pork chop in a large pen of pit bulls. They were just all over that stuff. So good call on the green bean casserole. Good call.
Sure, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I appreciate your joining, man. We've been talking about this for a while, and I'm glad we finally got to sync up and get this moving forward. what I thought today was we would go through some cool interview questions. We'd maybe take a break, jump on the wheel of Radish, and then depending on how we're feeling, we could either maybe play a game or do some Q&A or just stuff like that. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic to me.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, and a shout out to everyone out in the chat. Thank you. I see you, Trixie. I see you, Mom Elite. I see Mrs. Nice. I think I see the Cowboys out there. So thanks for joining. It's fantastic to be supported by such an amazing FDM community. So thank you so much for joining. All right, if you're ready, Snap, I'm ready. Let's jump in. You ready?
I am 100% ready, my man.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go back in time, man. Let's jump in the Radish time machine and go back to younger Snap. Before you started your streaming, like what kind of gamer were you when you were growing up?
Well, I liked all games, but I think I started like a lot of kids, like Duck Hunt, Mario, all the initial Marios, and then like throughout my life I kind of transitioned in other games, like Mario All-Stars, and then into like GoldenEye, all the FPS games, every COD that I could get my hands on. So pretty much most of the games that you hear of most kids getting into as a kid, I played all of them. So like, but the major games, probably like GoldenEye was one of the major ones that
was a banger.
Gamer. Yeah, for sure. And then like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and then all the Call of Duties. I played everyone. Halo, obviously. Multiplayer was a big deal for me, so I think just mostly those games. Anything I could get my hands on for shooters.
Awesome. So a lot of first-person shooters. What was the first, like multiplayer first-person shooter you remember playing?
Definitely Halo. I would
Halo.
Say
Awesome.
Halo 3 I think was the first. Where we could actually like meet up and like connect. I think that was more like LAN style, but then they went to the multiplayer after that. Probably Call of Duty was like the first one that I played where I could really enjoy the multiplayer, I would say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So moving forward in time, and it's, you know what? I just recently learned, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I just recently learned that the second controller in Duck Hunt can actually control the ducks. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea about that. I'm learning new things today.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right?
I love that.
Yeah, like you never stop learning. Like there's always something new to learn about, you know, classic games that we grew up on. So I recently learned that, and I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That would have changed the game dynamic pretty significantly.
Oh, for sure.
So in terms of streaming, like you're a big streamer, and how did you get your start in streaming? How did you go from, say, Duck Hunt, Call of Duty, those kind of games into streaming?
Well, I would play Call of Duty, and I got watching a lot of the competitive Call of Duty players. So like I got watching Nate Shot and Scumpy and like all the Call of Duty players. So then I got to where I got into Black Ops 3 really hard, competitively playing it, game battles, like everything else. Like mid-20s, I think. And that's when I was like, I got really good at Black Ops 3, and I saw players on Twitch, and I'm like, well, I'm better than these players, so I'm gonna try to log on and see what I can do. And so then I got into zombies on that, and that's kind of where I started.
Interesting.
That, you know, but even then, it's like you're kind of like you're one out of a million when you're trying to play multiplayer, you know, on Call of Duty. But back then there wasn't as many streamers, so it was quite a bit easier to get viewers off of it.
So what was the environment like? It sounds like you kind of got into streaming kind of early on, and like today it seems like everyone's streaming, right? Which is cool. There's so much content, and there's so many neat ways to like find your own niche. Like for you, like what was kind of that hook that got you, kind of started in there in the early days?
You mean so basically from where I went from Call of Duty on to larger in the streaming space?
Right.
Yeah, I would say that. So when I started FDM, I remember I was with Kelly Scanty FDM. She was one of the first friends that I made when I first started FDM, and
Mm-hmm.
we would sit in bushes and we would camp ranked and we would just talk and I would do whatever. And I remember telling her I want to create this customs
Mm-hmm.
where all the parents can meet up and you know, kind of all like-minded parents can get together, camaraderie,
Mm-hmm.
and all play together. And that's kind of where the spark took hold. And before that, I was averaging maybe 5 to 10 viewers on Call of Duty. I would have times where I would get 30 to 40, like on a new game, but I was by no means a big streamer. I was an affiliate, but I didn't have many viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that starting the customs after starting FDM, before it was even called FDM, when it was just Fortnite for dads and moms, for like the first 6 months, we didn't even have more than 10 people in the customs.
Wow.
That's why I'll tell a lot of these smaller streamers, like, just keep pushing, don't give up, because even once we had 10,000 members, there were still only 15 people that would play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'd have little games, and it wasn't until the commentary came in, and then kind of things started to morph, where I got better at it and stuff, and then kind
Mm-hmm.
of snowballed. But yeah, it's definitely, I'd say that initial meeting was where it, like, the spark kind of took hold, and then from there it just kind of picked up over time. But it took a good 6 months before it got to where it was 20 then 30.
Mm-hmm. And most Mondays and Fridays, like you're averaging around at least, you know, a ballpark of 100, right? Like,
Yeah,
what was that
yeah,
road
we
like?
100. In the beginning it was harder, obviously, to grind up to those numbers,
Mm-hmm.
because we'd have, in the very beginning, I'd have like really hot nights where there'd be like 200 people, and then there'd be 30. You know, it'd go down because it was so inconsistent. I would say, like, people
Yeah.
weren't sure of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until like I had set rules and a set structure, and like the we don't hate, we motivate, and the lead with love, and just really fostering a positive space. Once that took hold, I think that's when people really started to adopt it and really like it, because
Mhm.
they realized, like, no one's just going to be able to come in and change the structure. That's what it is, and people can count on that structure.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think some others away from FDM, easy for theirs to kind of go all over the place and
Mm-hmm.
up, down again. But I think it's easy for customs. I think that's one thing all of FDM does really well. They're
That
all just really loving
consistency.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and they're good people, and shows.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I got to ask, where did the name Snappernickel come from?
My papa's nickname was Snapper growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He was a baseball player, and he was tall like I am, 6'5". He was like, or 6'4". He was like 6'6", and his friends would call him Snapper. So, and because he had this really huge hand, his hands were huge, and
Mm-hmm.
they looked almost deformed, but so they called him Snapper, and so throughout his whole, childhood, he was Snapper, and then they had a dog named Snapper. And it was like my favorite dog.
There
So
you go.
one day I used to be, before I was Snappernickel, I was Heisenberg, High Zinberg.
Mhm.
Side note, I just named my dog that in Fortnite. So
There you go.
my second dog, Snappy, and then Heisenberg. But
Came full circle there.
yeah, I digress. So yeah, it was Snapper, and because of his nickname, and then I was thinking one day, like, back in the day, the weirder names were kind of in more than they are now. Now
Mhm.
it's not as in, but back then it was kind of in to have weird names. Like, people had pickle in their name, or all these different things. So I'm like, what could I add to Snapper? Because there was a Snapper back then who played Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Now he doesn't stream anymore, but back then he was actually a pretty big streamer on Call of Duty. So I said, I can't be Snapper. So I wanted to be Snapper, but not copy him. So I
Right.
just, like, Pumpernickel, Snappernickel, and that's where it all. That's it. That's
Wow.
literally it.
That's a fantastic story. So how
Yeah,
long have you
that's
been
it.
Snappernickel? Like a year?
2020.
2020. Wow. So
2020.
we're going on
Yeah.
almost 6 years now as Snappernickel, huh?
Yeah, and I was Heisenberg for a very good amount of time before that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. So in terms of FDM, and I'm representing here. I'll gotta show the shirt.
I know, I love that. I saw that when you were opening.
It's got the fluffy radish on the back there.
It's absolutely stunning, my friend.
Hey, I know a guy, and he's, he's pretty cool, and he had these shirts, and I'm like, I gotta represent, representing the
Yeah.
Snappernickel.
Yeah. That was the #1 selling color and style one you have on. So you have the right idea right now.
Yeah, and I go with the crowd when I can.
Yeah, I think that was a favorite for sure.
I have good taste. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the love in here, man. I'm feeling it.
Definitely.
In terms of FDM, and you kind of talked about this, but I want to kind of circle around to it again. Like, what was your original vision for FDM?
So, when it all started actually, I was in another group. I won't mention the name, but I was in another group that still exists, but it was smaller. It was the biggest one back then, but it isn't as big now. And it was just terrible. It was the way it was run. There was bullies, and they would favor the algorithm over like just banning people that just needed to be banned. Rather than just banning them, they would, no, we don't want to get rid of too many because we want to keep the numbers up. And they would be people that just shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day thinking, like, I can build a better group than this. Like, I knew there was a missing group that just was, because back then there was no for dads and moms. There was one for moms, there was one for dads.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing for both. So I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. The other ones had the thought that the parents should have their own time, and they should hang with the men, and they should hang with the dads, and then the moms should hang with the moms.
Mm-hmm.
But I was more realistic and understood that families game together, and that's just how it is. Yes, there are a lot of times where guys get with guys in the game, and they're buddies, they're homies, and the girls get with the girls. But a big majority of the time, families play with families, couples play with couples, and even if they don't play together, they would like to be in the same group together. Like, that's just, if you're married, you're not going to be in different groups. That's just not. So I knew that there was like a missing group where all the parents, the moms, the dads, everyone could come and have a really strict rule set that made it so that you felt safe in there without worrying about bullying.
Griefers and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. And something I really appreciate about FDM is going in and, husbands and wives, are teaming together, right? And even the kids are in there with the parents and stuff. Like, it's such an amazing atmosphere where people are, like, it's a safe place just to be, as a family. And, that's that all, points back to you and the hard work you put in. So, like, absolutely fantastic job you've done creating this community. What kind of, it couldn't have been easy. Like, what kind of challenges did you have? And, how did you, it had to have been a lot of work, like building those swim lanes and enforcing the rules. I imagine a lot of that came from your choice of, good mod teams, but like, what was your secret? What were your challenges? How did you get everything basically into a well-oiled machine that it is today?
Well, firstly, I want to say thanks for recognizing what you did a second ago. That I appreciate that. And beyond that, to answer your question, I would say, like, precedent has been really important. I think a lot of times people have come to me and said, well, why can't this person do this? Or, come on, man. Like, just this time. Can you just let it go this time? Can you? And I'm really strict about not, even when it comes to friends, or very much keeping precedent and not changing it. And so I think a big part of running a good group is deciding on a certain thing and sticking to it, and not changing with the weather. You got to stick to your guns, and there's going to be times where people are going to hate decisions that you make. It's like in customs, when I don't have a rule someone likes, they want me to adopt a rule, and then I don't want to, and they get very upset.
Mm.
And as much as I want to be like, hey, I'll just make any rule that anyone wants, I have to stick to what I want, and
Yeah.
eventually I think those people see, okay, he just wants a specific set structure, and I
Mm-hmm.
understand sometimes things get annoying. I think that's the biggest thing for me, just really when I decide something, I try to stick to
Gotcha. And I think that's such a strength in the FDM community is that sense of consistency, right? And there's some wiggle room. Like sometimes you'll do like bring your own teams. Sometimes it's hey, just all random and whatnot. But by and large, that sense of consistency is I see that as a good thing, as a safe thing, right? Especially in like Fortnite's such a competitive game, or it can be, right? Having that sense of consistency where you've kind of hedged off the community and made it true to your vision. I mean that's so amazing. So you came up with the slogan like we don't hate, we motivate. Like how did you get that? Where did that come from?
Oh, well, just one day I was just in the customs and just rhyming and kind of flowing along, and
Mm-hmm.
I said it. I think it was like two years ago. It was a long time ago when I came up with it. I had heard a different iteration of it used. I can't remember exactly what the other one I heard was,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't say 100% that it was something I came up with. It was the one that it's similar to something I've heard before, but I can't remember the exact words. But it was similar to that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so and back to my last point,
Mm-hmm.
I want to like really preface what I said with my team being alongside me in all that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Like it's literally impossible for me to run without them. So like, and anything that I answer, I preface with that specifically. So I
Yeah.
want to make sure you say that because like they make my job a lot easier just being
Mm-hmm.
the people they are. It's amazing.
And they help you be successful. I mean, in my opinion, that's like the recipe for success in any situation, whether it's in a company, whether it's in like a stream, or even like I used to run. Remember the old V bulletin message boards and stuff like that? It was the same principle. Like, you have to have like that uniformity and that kind of the vision at the top, right? And then your mods really are an extension of that vision. And in FDM, when I first joined up with FDM, like I was kind of banging against the guardrails, right? Of oh well, I want to. Why can't I post a picture of this, or why can't I say that and stuff? But as I did my time, earned my colors through FDM, like those moderators did such a fantastic job, and it really was seen as an extension of you. Like you had the vision of this amazing community, and what they surrounded you and helped you be successful. So it's so encouraging to see that working, right? So I just want
Oh,
to commend
for
you, but
sure.
and commend your mods. Like they do such a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's why I'm always willing to. I will stand between them and the fire.
Mm, yeah,
For anybody, it's like because you have to, man. You have to ride for your team in everything that you do. It's even
yeah,
if there's something you may not just even if there's something you may not agree with. You're not a good manager. You're not a good person in charge if you're someone that is gonna publicly make a scene about it. Like, hey,
yeah,
you're not doing this at the job today. You take them aside and you tell them away from the other workers. Like that type of stuff. I try to
yeah.
be very, because they help me so much that they do it completely voluntary. So it's voluntarily.
That's awesome.
It's like, and they do a great job, gals. So
Hmm.
I
So who?
appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I mean, who were your first mods? I mean, you mentioned Kelly or Scanty. Like, what other? Like, you've built a cast of characters there at the FDM Network. Like, who are some of the early gang that came in and really been in there for the long haul?
KT, Scanty, and Angela, those three have been there since the very beginning, since
Hmm.
the absolute, since the jump of FDM. They have been there since before 10,000 members.
Wow.
Kelly and KT and Angela especially. Kelly and KT have been people like them. Lady Blue. There's definitely a 10 to 20. Mrs. Nice. She's been there since under 10,000. You know, so it's definitely a thing of. I think I like to tell people you can judge me based on the relationships that I have.
Yeah.
The length of said relationships. You know, I've known these people since 2021. Most of 2021.
That's amazing.
Love them all.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, FDM is a family, and just that you have those family members in there for the long haul is just amazing. Am I a Zombie Now? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Juggling all the goodies.
Both the Cowboys, of course.
Both the Cowboys, yeah. KT and Oki.
Forever. No, like, love them both like brothers.
It's awesome. How would you describe FDM in 3 to 5 words?
And leading back to that, you yourself, you've been there since literally, I mean, you've been there for years as well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Three words, I would say, right off the top of my head without thinking, I would say love, camaraderie, and legends. I would say those 3.
That's awesome.
Legends is obviously like the key word, and then love, camaraderie, I say camaraderie is the key word a lot of times because that's what I first thought of when I was starting FDM was like-minded parents, creating camaraderie. You know, like those are the first things I said.
Appreciate that, Snapper. So, like, what's your... I know you kind of already answered this, but I want to circle around to this question again. Like, what's your secret? Like, how do you... It's such an encouraging, uplifting space, right? Even when people... You know, let's face it, you're playing a competitive shooter game, and people can lose their heat, right? They can get ticked off and throw the controller and all that. Like, how do you keep the vibes so above board, and how do you keep it just so positive? Like, what's your secret?
Literally, the secret it is 100% not giving any energy to any hate. I say it in the stream. People probably think it's like a script that I just say, but like, it's incredible how much energy can be taken from you if you let someone else control how you think, how you move. That's why I will look straight into the face of any hater and say, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Just because it just doesn't benefit me to yell and scream and get mad. And I think that just really trying to remember that you don't gain anything by getting upset. They want that. They want you to get upset. Ones that really, really aren't fans of yours, you know? But my dad always said that. He's like, Jeff, the bigger you get, the more people are going to not. You're going to have people that just aren't going to like you. That's going to happen. And that's just math, you know?
Yeah. And it seems like people... Like some people, I'll say, like trolls and grifters, just tend to want to bring you down so they can feel better about themselves. So how do you deal with trolls, griefers, like that chaos? Like, how do you... I mean, honestly, sometimes, you know, I'm in an FDM game and I'm seeing people team up and stuff. Say again?
Oh, I think I, like, cut out. That's why
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh, no, I thought I was answering something, but I think you have a question that you wanted to ask me.
Yeah. Is my mic cutting out? Are you hear me okay, bud?
It cut out for a second.
Okay.
Let me close. I tried to open my browser to load your stream up. I think it slowed down.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've got 15,000 apps and browser tabs and stuff running right now, so I'm like, oh crap. Is like my CPU melting right now?
Yeah, I wanted to load up the stream. Like, no.
No. Yeah, let me know when when you're square, and I'll
Yeah,
jump.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going back to this, like, the whole troll thing, right? Like, there's trolls, there's griefers. Like, how do you keep yourself sane when you're in the heat of the moment? Someone, just keeps teaming up, right, or breaking the rules, or dancing on, someone else's corpse in the game and stuff. Like, how do you deal with that and not, like, lose your mind and just freak out?
I envision them sitting in there wherever they're sitting, and waiting for me to do that. So like I picture them sitting there just like, come on, man, like, come on, you got to give us like one like really angry moment. And I've never really been like, you can ask like the moderator, the Jeremy, the guy I went to high school with. Even when I was in high school, I loved everyone. I was friends with the jocks. I was the jocks. I was friends with the band members, and I just never have really hated people. Like if I don't like someone, it's because they've screwed with my family or my son, or even people that are trolls, I just can't find it in my heart to hate them. I can't. It makes it so much easier to not get upset. There's definitely times I'm human. There's times where I am, and when I am more upset in those moments, it's because I know the fun's being taken from me, and enjoy it. They really enjoy this, and I want them to have a good time, And the nights where that does happen, I may not get upset on stream, but when I walk away at the end of the night, I'm really upset at the fact that my friends couldn't get in the games. That's the only thing that I'm upset about. Had nothing to do with them targeting me, or it's always, hey man, I wish they could have been there for games.
That's an amazing approach, and I think Scanty said it best in the chat. Like, Snap, you're way more mature than I am. Like, there are times when I'm playing the game, and Fortnite's not my game of choice, but I play it because it's fun, right? And there's just moments where I'm like, Hulk rage and want to rip off the shirt and stuff. So, like, it more power to you, man, because it works. Like, you create such an amazing atmosphere where even when, like, the trolls, the griefers are going to show up, they're just going to show up, right? But they don't bring the whole ship down, and it's, that goes back to you and your mod team, like, doing such a fantastic job of, just keeping the ship on course. So, again, I want to just congratulate you and your team. You do such a great job there.
Very much. The world.
So let's crack the Snapper head open like an egg here. Like, let's get inside the mind of Snappernickel. Like, you stream every Monday and Friday starting at roughly 8 o'clock, right? And you generally go for a good, like, 3-4 hours. Like, that's got to take a lot of energy. What's your typical, like, stream day look like? Do you just, like, roll out of bed and wherever the creative energy takes you, or do you kind of plan it all out? Like, what's your approach to a stream day?
So I usually get up every day about 5:30. I can't sleep in, never been able to, and I'll get my son off to school. I'll send out my promo posts, do my morning posts, that, hey, everyone, have an amazing day, and do all that, make my coffee, do all that, and, because I still am a web designer by day and do that throughout the day, too. So I, like, will work from, say, 6 a.m. until noon, and I'll do, like, 2 or 3 hours of promo, and then I'll go back to work for another 3-4 hours, finish what I was doing, and then the last, like, 3 hours of the day, I'll just straight promo in terms of, like, making a TikTok, putting the post on the group, and then streamers group, and I try to, like, decompress with, like, the last hour. I'll get ready for the most part, getting everything going, but I try to, like, slow down in that last hour so I can kind of relax. If I'm hungry, I'll eat something that last hour before. But, like, to this day, even, like, tomorrow's my 2-year partnerversary.
That's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, and even to this day, I still get harder breathing before I go live. right before I come in, hey yo, that I am like, my heart's racing, like even now. So it's like you never get over that. You never. It's always nerve wracking, So it's like
Yeah.
you can prepare yourself as much as you can. You know, I'll eat a cough drop if my throat hurts or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, you gotta kind of psych yourself up a little.
Yeah, when you come
My
out,
mom
like,
says,
the energy,
yeah,
man, like, you come out so strong in your streams. Like, I would never know that, you're kind of biting your nails before every stream. Like, you do such a confident intro, like, just pow, here you are. So that's impressive. But I cut across you, bud. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, you're good. I was gonna say my mom jokes around all the time with me. She's like, if they only knew how shy you are away from the stream. Like if they only like if they only knew that I'm very outgoing away from the stream too. But with people I know, and a lot of, and that's why like she's like, man, if they only knew how shy you are sometimes, like you're not always just kind of energy ball. But there's also times that like Oki can tell you or KT can tell you I do rage in game. I mean, it does happen.
Yeah.
But it's never like in a hateful way. It's always like me being mad at myself, or can't
Yeah.
believe I did that, or something like that, or. But yeah, it's definitely get those human moments here and there, but never against them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I can relate to
I
that.
appreciate the kind words.
No,
Yeah,
man,
for
you,
sure,
you
man.
do a great job. Like, you wouldn't know, and that's like that's such an awesome part of what I'm doing. Right? It's just getting inside the mind of Snappernickel and like what moves you, what motivates you, and also like what some of the challenges are. Like, absolutely, you're human, right? But you don't give in to that, and you don't let that control you and drive you. Like, I'm an introvert by nature, and for me, like, starting out in radio was like, it was almost like I had a split personality. And when the stream comes on, like, I'm very outgoing and stuff, but I'm a smart ass and all that, but like, I'm very introverted. So it's an interesting dynamic that you just mentioned, and that relates to me. Like I really feel that, like, once that thing, once you go live, like, you're live and you're in that persona. Like, you do such a great job of that.
I appreciate that very much.
What where I'm trying to phrase this question. Like, is there anything that you want to expand into in the FDM network that you haven't done yet? Like, are there any areas that you want to build out? I hate the interview question, which is, remember the gotcha questions, right? What are your strengths? And then, like, what are your weaknesses? And it's always supposed to be that gotcha. But, like, there's some truth to that of, what do you want to do that you haven't had the opportunity to do yet with the FDM network?
Definitely creative maps. I'm gonna be getting into that. And I've had some kind of workings with the creatives with certain people and like myself and building out things. But it's never been good enough for me to like stamp and put out, like, because I've never been the type that's haphazard or just things out that aren't like, it has to be perfect. Like, it's got to be good, and I'm not gonna just throw something out. Same thing with the merch. Worked on it for months before it was perfect before I put it out. That's why I always said I'm gonna wait till 75,000 members, not because round number. I needed the time, I needed the time, and then I still didn't really have as much time because it got there so fast. But yeah, I think definitely. What was I going? I kind of just lost my.
Kind of, where do you want to take FDM that you haven't had the
yeah.
chance yet?
Yeah, creative maps. So yeah, I did some creative maps, and then they kind of just weren't as good as I wanted them to be, and then I worked with another person on one, and that didn't really work out. So I'm trying to get that moving along, and definitely more in the area of like FDM Studios type thing,
Okay.
where we could make more, professional content that's we can put out. I definitely want it to be as grand as possible, for sure, but still remain, obviously, the core being
True to your core, yeah.
camaraderie and people being able to find parents, because it's like people message me all the time and they're like, when I found FDM, I had no one to play with. It's like now it's like this world of possibilities. You know, I have all these friends and they travel across the country to meet each other, and it's definitely.
Wow. No, that's interesting, and that's a whole nother dynamic. Do you feel that, like, everyone brings in their own skill set to, really, this is a creative space, right? And you've created FDM, you've created the customs, you've created the Snappernickel persona. What other skills, like you mentioned you're, a web designer by day and whatnot, like I imagine that kind of helped you out building this. Like, what other skills have you brought into the mix that really helped you succeed?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I started my business in that when I was 17, so I kind of like learned how to run a business early and structure. Definitely that helped me moving forward. I would say that in running a group, that's helped me a lot. But I think that the person skills, like the team leading skills, things like that, is what I've learned the most throughout the time at the end. So I think that that's something that helps a lot over time. If that answers.
No, it does. That's a great way to summarize that. And I imagine that really helps you doing like your advertising as well. Like the web dev part of Snappernickel like kind of kicks into gear, like ringing the bell for the Pavlov's dog, right? You're in that groove already, and you know what to do. So that's probably very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Like SEO and app design, a lot of that's kind of what I do the most of.
Mm-hmm. So
tedious
programming.
work. Yeah, a lot of programming, a lot of just working with search engine optimization and algorithms and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, you've got my respect. Like I run some websites. Like I work in IT as well. I am not a programmer at all. Like I know enough to, at best scrape my way by. Like I work in cyber, and I hate programming. So that part has always been like my Achilles heel. So I absolutely respect what you do, because that's a niche that I'm just not wired for that at all. So that's awesome. So in terms of skills, like, I'll just be frank with you, Snap. Like, sometimes I'm in stream and I'm like, where the heck does he come up with this stuff? Like some of the things that you just pull them out. And I've got a couple sound clips here. Let me just launch them here.
It's about to get nasty.
You hearing those okay?
Yeah.
FDM.
Another FDM.
Fortnite for dads and moms.
Here they are.
I mean, the sound clips go on and on, but you just pull this stuff out.
It's not a bird. It's not a plane. No, that's an FDM legend. Remember the name.
Whoops.
It's about to be a slaughter by these FDM moms, dads, sons, and daughters. We lead with love, but the haters stay big mad. I got a Big Mac that'll stack burgers like a Big Mac.
I mean, they go on and on.
They're pulling big guns out the purse like Mary Poppins, coming to rock 'em and sock 'em.
Here's another one.
They want the win, baby. They don't want second on the podium. They don't want to watch the others get the throne. Daenerys Targaryen on it. They want it all here tonight.
So, just so many clips. Like, you're so quotable, Snap. Like, where do you pull that stuff from? Like, is it just, what's your secret? Where do you come up with this stuff?
Well, when I was in high school, I actually used to, like, freestyle battle rap against friends and stuff. And I wasn't amazing at it, but I wasn't horrible. And I would say that was kind of like an initial. I could always rhyme words together.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I'm in the commentary, there's certain things that I just have up there that I keep and repeat, each event. And then there's certain things that I'll think of 5 words, that rhyme, and then I'll think, okay, I can say this, and then as I'm saying those, I'm thinking of the 3rd line, the 4th line, and kind of go from there, but I think the biggest thing was my dad, and he says he was a horrible dad for doing this, but I loved it. He would bring me to all the racetracks across Maine. He owned horse races, harness, not the horse back, but with the carriages on the back.
Okay.
Harness racing. So he would bring me to every track, New York, Maine, Massachusetts, everywhere. He'd bring me to all the off-track betting parlors, smoke-filled, but that's where the "here they are" comes from. The "here they are," that's where that is. At the end of the race, the guy will, "Number 3, here they are," to the finish, or whatever. So that, I heard that my whole life growing up. Here they are, here they are. So when I started commentating, I'm like, I'm going to use that. But a lot of what I kind of, like when Bush Camp Dad says, oh, he's like the Monster Jam Rally meets NFL football. It's like, it's because I literally grew up on the track listening to the best harness racing commentators. And my dad says that too. He's like, that's why you're good at that. It's like you heard all the best guys and they do it just like that. That's why a lot of times I'll pitch my voice, or like, the baby thing where I keep saying baby. That's what that is. That's from commentators. A lot of them say that. They use the baby this, baby. It's kind of like one of their things. So I think a lot of that molded me, into what I commentate now.
It's kind of like we just came out of Thanksgiving, and you put the turkey in the pot with the brine, and it soaks it in. It's almost like, Snappernickel was soaking in this most of his childhood, and it just comes right out,
Yeah, that's so true. That's a fantastic analogy right there. Like, you should just pat yourself for that. I mean, that was just fantastic.
I appreciate that. Yeah, turkey's on my mind. I'll be honest with you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's, you just make it so effortless. And you play a lot of music during your streams, and, I was soaked in music my whole life, so that's like, hearing music, and, you play a lot of like Eminem and stuff, and you know what, you can like hold your own with that style of music. I was expecting to hear something like, yeah, man, I've been listening to rap, and you mentioned freestyle rap, and I'm like, I'm locking on, but that's such an interesting dynamic of like, the horse racing, the commentators, and also it reminded me a bit of going to like an auction and hearing a really good auctioneer, like just how effortlessly, like you have a command of your words, right? And you do such a fantastic job of that. It's great to get a peek kind of behind the curtain and see, what makes Snapper tick. So let's change gears here. I have like some more personal questions. Like on your bio, on your site, your Facebook profile and stuff. Like first and foremost, you mentioned Robbie, right? And your family first approach to gaming. Like I love how in any given night, Robbie will just come in and hang out, like be on screen talking, and like you're so open to being a dad. Like he's not bothering you, right? You're not like, oh dang it, I'm streaming, get out and stuff like that. Like you're such a a warm dad and an inclusive dad, and that's so encouraging. Like how has being a dad shaped the way you stream and your approach to the community?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, so huge. It's definitely made me much more appreciative of having people around, because his mom's not around. I do everything myself, so it's kind of, for, she used to help out more, but now she's kind of just non-existent. So I feel like when I have the FDM people around me, it's like the support, kind of like having a support there almost. So I think that does help me in my streaming in terms of like feeling like I have people that are there, because like it can get pretty pretty I mean, he keeps me on my feet, and you know, I don't get too lonely here but you know, single dad, just trying to make it, and without that camaraderie from the group, it definitely would be a lot harder, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, being a parent helps though a lot for streaming. And when he does come in like that, I think a lot of times I'm just really happy to see him, you know, because even when I don't see him for like an hour, he comes in, I'm really excited to see him. So.
That's awesome.
And I
man.
know people like to see him. I try to, because after a certain point he can't come in because of the, you know, whatever.
Right.
So it's in the beginning I'll let him, you know, come in. He wants to say hi, and he loves the customs. He loves the people. He knows a lot of the people in the customs.
Yeah, I've heard him referred to, like, some of the people are like Aunt, you know, Aunt Kelly and Aunt Uncle.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like the whole family vibe is just fantastic, all the way down to, you know, being a parent. Got a couple of follows. I want to thank, wow, I'm not going to pronounce this well, but Kay Holvin, of course, Okie Cowboy, Mom Elite. Guys, thank you so much for following. Just quick shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. One more personal question, and this is near and dear to my heart. Like, you're pretty open on stream about, like, your medical marijuana use. And, you know, that's, in my opinion, done so much to break down, like, stigma around, one is medical marijuana, and two is just marijuana in general. Like, that breakdown of the stigma, which is very helpful. I would be lying if I, you know, didn't admit, like, that's really influenced me in my life. You know, being in stream with you and you know, seeing how that's such a natural part of your life. And, you know, I went and I got my card, and it's been a life-changing experience for me, you know, dealing with, you know, anxiety and stuff like that. So one is thank you for that, but two is, like, seeing all of the amazing sponsorships that have come out of that. Like, how did all of that come about?
Initially it was G-Pen had reached out to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they had seen the stream, and I didn't know they owned Student Glass, so I had talked to G-Pen, and they had wanted to support with some products, and before that I had dealt with Bomb. Bomb is someone that I had just connected with. Bomb E-Rig was someone that I connected with on the Instagram. But the G-Pen one was, they found me through the stream. That led to the Student Glass, because they own Student Glass.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from there it morphed. Like, the Hemper and MJ Arsenal saw the G-Pen one, and then kind of from there it kind of snowballed, you know, to all these other companies. 'Cause they're all kind of connected. They all follow each other. So when one posts an Instagram video, they all like it or love it, and that's kind of where it snowballed. Once I posted the Student Glass video, that's when I really started getting hit with. I did the whole, you know, security with the cowboy hat. So it's like they like that stuff. They like you being like an actor, kind of acting out things. And then they saw the stream where I came on stream with the Student Glass. They loved that. Oh yeah, they love that.
It's
all
fantastic.
really
And my God,
that
like,
way.
every stream, like, you've got all these boxes of stuff. It's to me, it's like they're knocking down the door. Like, everyone wants, you know, to get Snapper's take on their product. It's so exciting to see, one, and two is, again, like, going back. Like, I grew up with, there was such a stigma around, one is mental health, you know, taking care of yourself, and two is, like, well, drugs, don't do drugs, you know, marijuana bad, and, you know, so much of that stigma is held back, in my opinion, you know, the legitimate use of, like, medical marijuana to help people. Like, you're knocking that thing down in major ways, and again, that's, like, personal to me. Like, you know, I got my card after, you know, sitting on Snap's, you know, FDM feeds for, you know, what, it was 9 months, and I'm like, you know what, why can't I do that? And, you know, for me, it's been life-changing. So, like, what you're doing is making a difference in the lives of other people. So, like, absolutely fantastic. Like, it's exciting to see, you know.
I appreciate that very much. That's very heartwarming to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, Snap, about how, like, the FDM network has helped me so much. You know, when I started attending, you know, the customs, like my wife had just been diagnosed with cancer. It was such a scary and lonely time. But I found that I could go into the customs and everyone was warm and inviting. Like I could set aside all of my, oh my God, radiation's coming up and, oh, she's got to get chemo and, all of that stuff. It didn't exist when I, slipped into the stream. Like it's such a great family. And again, I want to commend you. Like you've done such a fantastic job building FDM into a family. And to that point, I thought it would be appropriate to maybe pull up some more chairs at the table and welcome in some of the other FDM family to show our appreciation to you. So at this point in time, I would like to invite some of the FDM family into the Discord chat. And feel free to introduce yourselves. Don't be bashful. They're being bashful. Whoa.
How we doing, everyone? Legends. Oops, sorry about that. This is Mrs. Nice _FDM, and I'm happy to be here to spend a little time with Snappernickel, the man, the myth, the legend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mrs. Nice, for joining. Who else do we have out there?
We have TTV Scanty _FDM. I'm here to tell Snap he's doing a great job and we love him so much.
Awesome.
We only do this because out of love, like be your right hand.
Thank you so much, Scanty. Who else we got out there? Are there any cowboys in the house? Are they being bashful? I see one cowboy in the chat here, but we cannot hear you. It looks like they might be rejoining here. Yeah, so I thought it would be appropriate, Snap. I hope it's okay just to, pull some chairs up at the table. Pull in some of the family, man.
Of course, man. I'm tearing up over here.
Yeah, so I got the Cowboys are coming, if they're not already in. I see one of the Cowboys in there, so thank you for joining. Yeah, so in the Radish household, like we have a tradition, and whenever we all get together, like I have 5 kids, right? And it's absolute chaos, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays. But the tradition we have is we all gather around the table. We always will either, go out to eat to celebrate or get takeout or, Thanksgiving, cook a big dinner. And we sit around and we all just share fun and funny memories. So what I was hoping for out of, and I affectionately call this like the peanut gallery, right? Like the crew that's come into the chat. Thank you so much. I just want to give people an opportunity to maybe share some fun or funny Snappernickel and FDM memories. And go. Does anyone have anything? Don't be bashful.
I don't mind starting us off.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite memories are of the early days when I was in the chat, and Snap. Every time I'd come in, he'd be like, "Oh, she's a high school English teacher. She should stream. She'd be a great streamer." And after months of that, like I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I could get this Xbox to stream. Like, what am I supposed to stream from? And they said, you could connect that. You should try it. So I tried it, and lo and behold, I went live and there were people in there. It was all FDM because he had, like, I already had, maybe 500 followers on my Twitch page before I ever went live, and it was all because of Snap. Because every time I was at the customs, he'd shout me out. He'd be like, "Y'all need to follow her. She's gonna stream one day. I'm telling you, she's gonna make it big." And so it was those moments that really pushed me to do what I'm doing. And ultimately, I mean, there would be no Nice Nation without Snappernickel. I'm just saying.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to get you a box of tissues, Snap. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah. We're balling over here.
My favorite memories was before it started, just talking about it and just the way he was so passionate about talking about doing things with the FDM and growing it. And the man was very, very, very passionate. And I didn't know if it was ever going to become a thing, but then it did. And it was just amazing. And I told him from that day, I said, I'm there from day one. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. You're going to make it big, and I'm going to see you all the way to the top. All the way.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing, Scanty. I see you guys sitting in the chat there. Any of the Cowboys want to jump in? I think Has Kids just jumped in too.
Oh, jeez.
Let me just see.
Oh, the love.
You feeling the love? You know, I'm kind of hearing, and I know there would be copyright issues, but I would play like "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Because you know, this is good stuff, man. No, I thank you so much for what you've done. For me, yeah, load up the tissues, man. Hey, we got the cowboy in. Is that the cowboy?
Definitely appreciate
There you
Snappernickel for everything, and you for holding this interview with Snap. Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Done
worries.
a great job,
I appreciate that, man.
both of y'all.
Love you, brother.
That is awesome.
Oh, you guys.
So funny memories. I mean, I shared some of the sound clips. Like, my God, you just pull them out of the air like magic. For me, one of the most amazing things is just how things just happen, right? Like it's amazing. You get so many amazing characters in like the customs, and just things organically create themselves. And so for me, like joking around with, I think it was Cloudy and I, all the rules, and the rules are awesome, right? And you guys put the rules in the top of the chat, but then the creative ways to look at those rules. So that kind of led to the book of Snappernickel, right?
The book of Snappernickel. I was gonna ask you about that actually.
Well, here, let's go with this.
And now, a reading from the Book of Snappernickel. Chapter 1, Verse 2. Thou shalt not dance with all your might upon thine fallen enemies. Such shenanigans are an abomination unto Snappernickel. This is the word of Snappernickel.
And I've been kind of playing around with trying to create more of them. I did like a promo video here.
It's about to get nasty.
It's time for Snappernickel. Only on the FDM Network. Fortnite. For dads and moms.
Oh, that is.
So all the little things like that just organically happen there in the customs, right? It's so much fun. And like you, Snap, like the creative side of wanting to create and wanting to make the community better through maybe humor, right? Or just goofy stuff like the book of Snappernickel. Like it's so much fun having so many people in there that are kind of like-minded, right? One is like that family focus is just fantastic, and so many people share that. And then two is just how things organically happen in there. It's again, I'm probably gonna have a sore arm from patting you on the back, but like you did that, and you and your team like have made such an amazing community where people can feel safe, right, and feel free to just kind of let their hair down and be themselves, and lead with love and help kind of build everyone else up. So those are kind of my funny snap moments, is just all of the whole entire book of Snappernickel, and and how that's kind of taken off, where like other people are like, oh, they're going to start quoting from the book of Snap when someone says, well, no anonymous, and someone else will throw out, the book of book of Snappernickel of thou shalt not be anonymous and stuff. It's just so much fun to be in that kind of an environment.
It makes me want to do that, like set it up so that the anonymous just triggers the book of Snapper to just come up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. We'll have to find a way to set that up. Where there's just a big red button, and it says anonymous, and we hit it. Boom, and they're all red-faced, and off goes the anonymous.
Well, I want to thank you for your creativity and just for that right there, for one, for just what you showed me right there, but just throughout all the time of knowing you. You've just always been a selfless person. Even when we had our rivals spurt, where like we're all grinding rivals, and like you want no part of weapons. You just only want to heal us. You just want to heal, and it's like you're selfless in everything you do, and I love you for that. I appreciate it.
Now it's my turn to get the tissues. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about this? Let's jump to the Wheel of Radish. Everyone in the peanut gallery, you guys doing all right? You want to do some Wheel of Radish? You don't know what that means. You're scared. You should be. Here we go.
Is that a bird? Is that a plane? No! That's an FDM legend. Remember the name.
The Wheel of Radish FDM edition. So I have set up the Wheel of Radish, and it's pretty easy. Here's how it works, right? I hit the magic button. You guys know this wheel. You use it every week, right? Spin the wheel, and it will provide an icebreaker question. This is a free-for-all, so feel free to jump in as you feel led. All right. First question. What advice would you give to your younger self? It's a free-for-all. Some of these are silly questions, some of these are deep questions. But they're all icebreaker questions. Don't be bashful.
I'll let these legends answer that.
That's a tough question to start off with. Dang. Oh my gosh. My younger self was so scared and just unsure about so much. And so I guess I would probably just say, suck it up, Buttercup. Get your butt out there. Try new things. Be challenged. I mean, I should have started streaming a whole lot sooner, when Snap was like, give that a try. And I brushed it off for about a year or more, I feel like. But yeah, I think that's probably what I would say is to get out there and try new things.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Oki says, invest in Google. Good one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyone else have an admittedly deep?
Mine is along the same end of the line. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say to go for a lot of the things that maybe I waited on going for till later in life. Maybe go for a lot of those things that I could have done when I was younger, but maybe not these days. But not even like in a grand sense, like specific things like sports wise or things that maybe physically I couldn't do now, but I could have done back then.
It's awesome.
Of course, I would say.
We've got some good chats. Has kids, I would go with don't stop streaming. That's what I would have told myself about 6 years ago. Lol, good. Has kids, you've been streaming a while, mate. We've got Kay Holven says, don't be scared. Mrs. Nice is showing awesome cat. Absolutely, my soft spot is cats. So thank you for sharing the kittens. Anyone else, or shall we spin again? Silence is golden. Mine is really along the lines of what Kay Holven said, and don't be scared. Like, so much, like I'm becoming in my old age, right? And I'm 21, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. But so much of my life is dictated by being afraid. One, of being who I am, and two is like saying things and, wanting to just be conform to people around me. So like so much of that being afraid to be yourself, like that's kind of the advice I would give to myself when I'm younger. Spin. Let's see if we can get a lighter question. We came out swinging on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
No shallow end in that pool. All right. So this one is a little better, right? I'm going to put it into the chat. What is one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
Many things, but I'm trying to think of like a really good one. Oh, of course, like I will say there's one thing, like my bucket list is to go and be on The Price is Right.
Oh man.
Like that's my like dream. I watch it like every day with my mom while I'm working. I'll put it on the background. Not Alaska, not the Bahamas, not Cancun. Like if I could go anywhere, I would fly to Los Angeles, sit in line, and watch The Price is Right.
Be in the studio.
Yes, in the studio. I don't even care if I get chosen. I just want to be there.
That's awesome.
The Price is Right.
Did you? And I'm, sorry, I'm answering your question with a question. But growing up, was that like your sick day? That was part of the medicine, right? You had ginger ale, you had chicken noodle soup, and you had The Price is Right. Was that part of your childhood?
Yes.
Yeah.
It 100% was, so much so that when I was a senior, we had what was called senior privileges. I don't know if you had that but in my high school, we had senior privileges, which meant you could drive your car to school, and you had study halls. Well, during study hall, when you were a senior, you could leave the school.
Okay.
So I literally scheduled my senior year around Price is Right. So I made sure that I did not have to start until after that second period every day. So I had like 6 classes, 3 a day. I watched my Price is Right, and then I went to school every day.
That is so fantastic.
Remember the show Seven Days? It was about an astronaut guy, and you could like go back 7 days. You remember that?
I do not recall that one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's the other. It was a guy that had this like sphere, and they figured out how to travel basically like back to the future style, and they could go back 7 days at a time. So it would be like all these destructive events that were going to occur. They would send this woman and man back 7 days to figure out what the figure out what the issue is and solve it, so that event doesn't happen.
Oh wow! Okay.
Changing the wrinkles of time.
It's kind of a time travel vibe there.
Yeah. So I'd watch that, Price is Right, and then I'd go to school.
What an amazing ritual.
Yeah.
Side topic, but on Pluto TV there is a 24/7 365 vintage Bob Barker Price is Right channel. And Pluto TV, they're not paying me to say this, though I wish they would.
Yeah.
It's free TV, so like, we fire up the Bob Barker vintage. He's wearing the cheap polyester suits, and he's got the brown hair, and he's, all of that. Absolutely fantastic channel. Just had to get that off my chest.
I didn't know about that, and I'm certainly going to watch.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. Anyone else?
My mom all the time. The Drew is not as good as Bob.
Oh yeah, Drew's good, but there's only one Bob Barker, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, Snap, I was stepping across you, bud. But anyone else? What's one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't yet? I see someone in chat, and I'm going to kill your name again and again, so my apologies, Kay Holven, but you said streaming, and, I was in your shoes a year ago, right, where everyone's streaming, everyone's like, oh, dude, you could stream. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, FDM was such a welcoming place for me. I'm like, yeah, why not? And, I used to be a radio station manager, and I loved creating content and being on the radio. So I kind of found my niche, right, which is, this. And, thanks, one, to the FDM network, two, specifically thanks to Snapper, like, that's been such a good creative outlet for me over the past, few months of streaming. So, Kay Holven, we believe in you. You can do it. Let's spin this bad boy again. Here we go. Finally, a light and easy one. No deep, I guess it could be deep, but what's your favorite way to spend a day off? Anyone?
Gotta be gaming for me.
Gaming.
I don't. Yeah.
So apart from...
Hanging with the.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
And hanging with the boy cousins.
That's awesome. Do you game much with Robbie? Is he a gamer?
Yeah, a little bit. I do a little bit. Lately, when I do play, I've been playing a little Arc Raiders with Oki here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I play Fortnite, it'll be the Ultimate Mod. Mods, like the Ultimate Mod Third. Jump on with Oki, and I've been trying to play with more people lately. Trying to put that time aside to really. I love gaming.
What, like, apart from Fortnite, and you mentioned Call of Duty, like, what's your guilty gaming pleasure? Do you have one?
I would say it would be probably zombies.
Ooh, okay.
What's up, buddy?
Is that the Rob Meister?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'd say Call of Duty Zombies or the Arc Raiders. I've been getting into that a little bit. But definitely, I want to try to get more into PC games.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly's been wanting me to play the Phasmo. So I might try to... My PC's kind of running funky. I gotta work for it. Get it down.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm more of an RPG guy, like more of a... And you called it earlier, right? With Marvel Rivals, I have thousands of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours playing team-based squad games, but it's more role-based, and I'm always the healer. Like, I love being a support role, but I'm totally hooked on RPGs. Like, I love RPGs. Just taking... It's so much like a metaphor for life, right? You start out kind of with nothing, or a blank slate, and then you can create what you want it to be, and subsequently how the world interacts with you. So I'm totally hooked on RPGs. Someone in the chat said, "Oh, dude, do you play WoW?" Yeah, I played WoW quite a bit. What else have I been playing? Like, I've been spending a lot of time on Borderlands 4 and, obviously Skyrim and stuff like that. I just love the RPG elements of it. Looks like Scanty likes hunting ghosties, and that's Phasmo. I haven't heard of Phasmo yet. I'll have to check that out. Binge watching 9G's movies, good one. Anyone else? What's your favorite way to spend a day off? That's a good one, Scanty. Like, I'm a total music and pop culture nerd. So, like, I love the 80s movies and the 80s, 90s music and all of that. That's a really good one. Oh, Final Fantasy. I've never gotten into Final Fantasy, but you hear so much about it. Fortnite forever for Mrs. Nice. Looks like HazKids has been playing WoW for like 20 years. That's awesome. You know what's weird, and this is more for HazKids, but like I played the crap out of Guild Wars, and then Guild Wars 2 hit, and I'm like, it's just not, it's not doing it for me, so I walked away. But now they're re-releasing Guild Wars with updated graphics and stuff, so I'm pretty psyched. It'll be like going back to an old friend, that's kind of like gaming for me. All right, 9:22. Shall we spin it one more time, or what do you want to do here? How about this? Let's do this. Switch back to here, and let's play the Snappernickel lightning round of questions. All right? Now, Snap, this is how it works, man. I'm going to give you a question. You give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Doesn't have to be, a lot of thought. Just boom, boom, boom. Number 1, favorite Fortnite skin of all time?
Black Knight.
The Black Knight. And that's your usual fallback skin, right?
Yeah, that's the main. I do play as female skins if I'm like grinding. So, but that is my go-to, 100%.
It's awesome. That's a good one. And it's kind of, isn't that part of your?
Yeah, that's the logo.
Yeah.
Like the whole look, pretty much.
I'm looking. I think I have the logo somewhere.
But I do have the Red Bull racing one, and I've been kind of dabbling in that a little bit too. But it's obviously it'll never take the place of the Black Knight.
Yeah, I noticed the Black Knight a lot, and that's a cooler one. Was that like a limited one?
That was the first battle pass that ever came out. I remember.
Okay.
I watched Nick Merckx play Fortnite way back, and I said, I want that skin. I'm gonna get that. So I played the first season before they had battle pass.
That goes way back then.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it in the shop.
Yeah. It's exclusive to the battle pass.
Am I a Zombie now just put the Black Knight in the chat. Thank you for that. How about you guys out in chat land? Favorite skin, Fortnite. And go. Anyone in audio want to jump in, you're welcome to as well. 4, 3, HasKid says, come on now. Beach Bomber. Good one, Scanty. Isabella. Is it Isabel? From Mrs. Nice. Tracy Trouble. Am I a Zombie? HasKids, you have the a very recognizable skin that you use a lot. El Chapulín. All right, question number 2. You guys ready? Worst Fortnite weapon ever added to the game. And go.
It would have to, for me, it depends on what you consider a weapon. The mech is, that's more of a vehicle. But the worst weapon of all time, it's got to be the sword. It's got to be the sword from the ice season. 100. That was one of the first weapons where I set my controller down at tier 100 and said, I'm done. Going to Call of Duty for this season.
Taking a break from this season, huh?
But I've always made sure that I got to tier 100, and I have every tier 100 battle pass in the history of the game.
Awesome.
Even seasons I didn't like, even the seasons where I was like, oh, I can't stand this season, I made sure to get the full battle pass.
That's awesome. Swords, Scanty seconds the swords. It just so happens that video of the Book of Snappernickel, I'm using the sword. So I hope it wasn't too triggering.
I'm actually talking about this, that sword was fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about, there was a sword way back in like season 4, and it was at an ice location, and there was only one on the map. And if you got that sword, you had like 300 health.
Oosh.
You were impossible to kill. It was over. The second the sword, so everyone raced for the sword. It was like 50 people would drop and just run to the sword. And it was whoever got that sword first, you were winning. It was broken. So that's the worst weapon, undoubted.
That is. Yeah, I don't know how long I've been playing Fortnite, but I don't recall that sword. I do remember, the sword that's in the video I posted there. That's more of like a samurai sword.
Yeah, I love that for the movement, just
yeah.
to move with it, get around.
You can just fly all over the screen. Chapter 4, shield for Scanty. Oh, yeah. That was where you could like hide behind the shield and you had like the little pea shooter that would reach out, right? Yeah, I remember that one. Looks like Nutmeg, my lovely wife, is with Cheddar, which is Radish number 5, and he says he hates those ice gloves. The Scorpion. Yeah. No, those aren't Scorpion. That was Sub-Zero, right? Yeah. Sub-Zero gloves. Oh, yeah. Nutmeg says, you're typing loud. Sorry about that. My keyboard is loud. All right, so worst Fortnite weapon. Anyone else have one to add? Go ahead and throw it in the chat there. All right, next question. What is your guilty pleasure game or genre?
Oh, I would say probably sports. I get into the PGA golf game. But that's not really a guilty pleasure though. That's like it's a popular series. Like guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's kind of a loose term.
Yeah. I think probably I got into what's the game that's like anime based? It's like it's a lot like anime. It's
Is it a free-to-play game?
Yep, it's free to play.
Okay, it's an epic game.
Genshin.
Right? Genshin Impact. Yeah.
Yes, I'd say that was. I played that for a bit. I liked that. That would be the guilty pleasure because I'd never play games like that. But that was really good.
Genshin Impact. I have a segment on the show, and I would do it if we didn't, if I had more time. But I'm a total cat junkie, and I've last stream I was showing videos of my cat while I was playing Genshin Impact, the cat going after the mouse and going after all the stuff on the screen. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But awesome. Yeah, I love Genshin. Oh, we got in the chat K-dramas, and it looks like Am I a Zombie Now says cats. Oh, you're baiting me, Am I a Zombie Now. I could talk all night about my cats. I will be good. I have...
Sent me a picture earlier of her cat in front of the Christmas tree. It looked fake.
Mm-hmm.
It's scripted looking.
Yeah, Am I a Zombie Now is baiting me.
Yeah, perfectly positioned cat.
Yeah, cats are... Ugh, I love my cats. I have 2 Siberian forest cats. We got them from Moscow before the relations with Russia kind of went downhill. They're hypoallergenic, so if you know of anyone that's allergic to cats, Siberian forest cats are perfectly fine. They're a long hair. They almost look Himalayan. They have 2 coats, like a very soft, it's almost like a silky baby duck down undercoat, and then like an outer coat that's kind of bristly to keep them warm. Best cats ever. Best cats ever. And I'm going to make myself behave and not pull out the cat
videos.
Yeah,
you can tell that you are very passionate and loving of your cats. I love that.
Yeah, my cats are awesome cats.
That says a lot about you as a person.
Yeah, I'm a cat person. Dogs are okay, but cats are where it's at for me. I will make myself stop. Anyone else? Guilty pleasure game or genre? I went over my weird obsession with RPGs. Also, for some reason, I used to play... what the heck was it called? It was basically Fortnite no build, but it was more realistic with the circle shrinking, and the name of the game is escaping me. So my apologies, but I played that a lot, and then I started, it was flaring my anxiety, and so I'm like, you know what, I got to take a break, and so I started playing Stardew Valley, which is a great way to just slow it all down, and so that was kind of a guilty pleasure. That's a great game. I highly recommend that if you need just to disconnect from the constant... games in a lot of ways will put you in a constant state of fight or flight, and Stardew just slows it all the way down. Apex Legends for Oki. Warcraft, yep, has kids. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. Halo, yeah. I never played Halo. I played, what was it called? Unreal Tournament, way back in the day.
I remember that.
Remember that? And the voice, the... Rampage and all that. Remember, the voices were just so classic.
People don't realize that's Fortnite.
Yeah.
Literally the guy that created Fortnite created that.
Yeah, and
Real engine.
Fantastic game. And that morphed out of the first real multiplayer, which was it was like a Doom Online, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah.
And then Unreal Tournament kind of took that a step higher. OG Warcraft, Halo. So thanks, Oki. All right. Guilty pleasure. I'll talk about my cats if I don't stay on target here. What game would you stream if Fortnite suddenly vanished tomorrow?
I would, if Fortnite vanished tomorrow, I would probably have to go to, I would try to commentate in a different genre of some sort, probably.
Mhm.
Probably Call of Duty, or I would maybe try to get into creating some sort of community, an art creator, something like that. I wouldn't be done with it only because I still look at it as a hobby, even now. You know,
Mm.
I think it was from where I've become, it's still see it as just a hobby that I just love.
That's awesome. Do you feel that kind of takes the pressure off you, that you don't, like, you have a day job, right? And the stream's success, the stream could go really well or it could go maybe not so well, but that pressure isn't on you to perform and to have the, like, do you feel that kind of helps you in your approach to streaming with FDM?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's easy for someone to do really well and then immediately jump to, well, this is my job now. Amazing, I'm doing my dream job. When there's just not enough consistency with Twitch in terms of streaming, even at the level that I'm at, to be able to justify the expenses of rent, all the different bills and stuff.
Adulting, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You gotta have a lot more than what you make, because they do take, a good portion of whatever you make, and I do appreciate Twitch, of course. But and then as of late, it's the lurking things that are going on with Twitch, and they're having to refresh pages. The lurkers aren't counting as much, things like that. So you can't really ever, it's never concrete. So you never want to use streaming as like the end all be all, because they could, you never know with Twitch. They've always said they're not profitable. But they do a good job. They're good behind the scenes. The Discord, the Twitch partner Discord, and they're really nice. Like the work for Twitch, they're really helpful. I think, yeah, if you keep it as a hobby, it's a lot less pressure, because you don't gotta worry about it being, the bread and butter of your finances.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I imagine, like, you could have the best content of your whole life. You could be pulling the one-liners out like Eminem and, just knocking it out of the park. But if people don't show, they don't show. Like, so much of that kind of pressure to be a professional streamer, I would think, is, I couldn't do it, right? Like, for me, streaming and even gaming in general is like an escape from, kind of adulting. So I totally get that. Anyone else in the chat? Like, what would you stream? Let's say Fortnite shuts down its servers tomorrow. What would you be streaming? Oki baited me, just like Am I a Zombie Now with a Cat? Like, Oki mentioned Diablo, which, oh my god, that's like one of the top 5 Radish games ever. I love Diablo. Anyone else? My nose itches. I'm not picking it, I swear. Alright, question number 5. This one can be fun. What's one thing your viewers would be shocked to learn about you, Snappernickel?
Probably, like I was saying earlier, that I am kind of shy away from the stream. Outgoing with friends and stuff, but like I can get on stage if I need to. Like, if I had to get on stage for and I do a lot of client meetings where it's 12 people and I gotta stand in front of a big table or boardroom, or like that stuff I can do, and I'm super good at that. But in terms of like hey, get up on stage in front of all these people and sing a song or rap and do your commentary, or obviously that would be a lot more practical. I would do it, and I would do a damn good job at it. But it definitely is more. I think that would be the thing people would, because they see me on stream and they probably think like, oh man, he must be a hoot in real life, man. Like, you know. And I am. I go to the bar with someone. I definitely, you know, get, you know, I get louder as the night goes on, but not in a, always in a loving sense. Like I've never been, even when I went to school, I just want people to get along in everything. You know, I love it when everyone's getting along and the vibes are high. Love is flowing, you know.
That's awesome.
It's easy for people to revert back to like, well, let's just be toxic. Like, who cares? You know, it's like, okay, they can start okay, but eventually that's just not gonna work. It just leads to infighting. I think that's why FDM is so special. Everyone has the same goals. Just all wanna meet each other, get along, have fun, play Fortnite.
It's awesome.
Like-minded parents.
Yeah, I'm an Enneagram type 9, and so much of what you just said is like, that's my motivation in life, is just, you know, peace, chill, peacemaker, right, is the Enneagram 9, and I'm all about the peace. And so yeah, that totally relates. Like I can totally relate to that, my man. Anyone in the chat, what would be one thing, I say viewers, and most of you are streamers, but let's just say people in general, what would be one thing that people would be shocked to learn about you? Anyone have anything in the chat? I'm sitting on mine. It's a big egg. Anybody? Bueller? All right, people are getting shy now. What's one thing your viewers would be shocked to learn about you? For me, I was in a cult, a religious cult, and my wife and I had to flee for our lives. It was a pretty crazy event. So in terms of Oki says he can't answer the question here. Yeah, so I was in a cult. Yeah, for real, dude.
No, yeah, I have to hear more. No, I won't push you to say.
No, I'm an open book, and my opinion is that the more I share about these things, it raises understanding about that kind of stuff. So I've spoken at conferences and stuff about cults and undue influence. By day, I'm trying not to get on my... Say again, is that someone in the chat or in the Discord? I'm sorry. Oh, we got kids in the house. Yeah, man, I could talk all day, Snap, about my cult experience. There are newspaper articles written about it. There is one of my websites is a blog where I basically have a whole novel of my experience. But I could talk all day about that. People hear, oh, Dom was in a cult, and they're like, what? You know, what the heck? But it's, you know, there's a continuum of what's called undue influence. So you say cult and you automatically think like way out to the extreme, right? But you know, they're a lot more common than people would think in terms of how people can use psychological tactics and techniques to, in essence, hack other humans. And so, yeah, I mean, I've given talks on that. Like my undergrad work is in psychology, my postgrad work is in human hacking, and I work in cyber. So like that's kind of the thing that really gets me going. But yeah, I was in a cult. I was also in an airplane that caught on fire, and we had to make an emergency crash landing. That was kind of cool. So there you go. Crazy fluffy radish.
Yeah, two good ones. 2 eggs.
Yeah, I was sitting on the big eggs there. Yeah, anyone else in Chatland? Well, it looks like a few people are like, what? I used to train under a pro UFC fighter, Scanty. Oh my god, that's awesome. Kickboxing and MMA, huh? That's pretty cool. So I'll make a note to never pick a fight with Scanty, because she would kick the crap out of me.
This is nice. I met my husband in a chat
room. That's awesome.
great.
Oh, Nutmeg, my darling wife, just put in the link a newspaper article about our cult. So,
Yeah.
so that's
I wanna read
cool.
about that.
I recommend maybe not doing it before bed because it's freaky.
Yeah.
But on your own head, be it.
Yeah.
What else? Mrs. Nice as well. To Nutmeg, who's my wife. There was a show on Hulu about that dance cult. It was really interesting. The dance cult. Was that the next... I'm going to butcher this, but the Nexium cult? Or that's where they were branding people.
Yeah, I saw that too. The dance
Yeah.
one was this mom that's supposedly taken on all these kids and has them doing like more adult things at a very young age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I seen that.
In essence, grooming the children.
Yeah, her daughter is actually one of the biggest on Twitch right now.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I have not heard about it. As a result of that, like, I have to limit my... Like, I have a gag reflex. Like, I can't handle too much at once because it's very triggering. But I do like watching, like, documentaries about them. There are a few out on, like, Netflix and stuff. There's one... the Shiny Happy People series is pretty good. That's on, like, the Duggar... What's called an IFB, or the Independent Fundamentalist Baptist cult. So there are a lot of documentaries out there on it. We've collaborated and worked with a lot of experts in that field, doing like radio and Nutmeg. Were we on TV too, or was it just written media? I can't even remember anymore. But if you're friends with me on Facebook, like, that's posted at the top of my wall is like some of the media stuff. And again, I'm going to start just talking about that. Just like cats. So I'll make myself shut up. But yeah, we're in a cult. Am I a zombie now? Same area, the Duggars, driven by their houses. Yeah, that, it's debatable where the line is on a cult versus a high control group. And so a lot of experts in the field have stopped using the word cult and have started using like high control groups instead. Using the word cult almost shuts down conversations. So if I said to Snap, hey man, I think you're in a cult, instantly he's gonna shut down. I'm not in the Fortnite cult. Yeah, you are, man. Like that kind of language right? And obviously you're not in a Fortnite cult, at least not that I know of, right? But that kind of language shuts down dialogue, whereas saying things like using concepts of like high control groups of, hey, I noticed these people won't let you out in public by yourself, like you always have to go out in twos, or I've got to call my handler, or a lot of that stuff. Using language around high control tends to get you a lot farther in the conversation. So anywho, that's the fluffy radish, the deep thought of the day, right? I actually have a video for that. And now, deep stuff with Fluffy Radish.
Love it.
All right, let me jump back here to the Snapper interview. All right, so that's kind of our questions. Look, Snappernickel, one final question. Like, this has been such an awesome conversation. I want to thank you. One, for creating such an amazing community, and two is like taking the time to come on this stream. It's been helpful for me to learn, a lot more about you, like what motivates you, how you've created this amazing environment. So thank you for that. And two is, thank you to all of the, like, our FDM family who've shown up, just to support you, man. And you know what? When I first started kind of planning and building this out, I thought, I want to bring in the family too, just to show some love to Snappernickel. So, you're well loved, you're well appreciated. Thank you for the conversation. One parting question for you, like, what can viewers do right now to support you? Sell it, Snap, sell it.
To support me every Monday and Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/Snappernickel. But above all else, beyond supporting me, supporting my friends, the FDM stream team, supporting them is supporting me. So before even supporting me, I would say really make an attempt to get to know like all the FDM stream team members. They're all amazing people, and I've been really trying lately to find any other ways that I can possible to get them out there, because I believe in all of them. So yeah, check me out every Monday and Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Here he
on
goes.
The FDM Network. Yeah. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone that came in tonight. Like, had you bawling my eyes out. It's nice to hear kind things from people that you really think so highly of. So I appreciate you.
It's awesome.
And your wife for setting everything up, getting both of you for just being incredible, and thank you for just being an amazing member of the FDM. You've been alongside me for years now, and the book of Snapper and everything you put in chat, and everyone loves you so much, and I look forward to seeing other FDM members do these interviews. I would love to hear some of the other FDM answers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Snap. And I'm finding my footing here. So I'm trying to have one interview a month. Next month in December, I am interviewing an independent recording artist. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Coming soon. Here we go. So December 14th, I'll be hosting James Allen Steller. He's the host of the Indie Boom Shockwave Twitch stream. They do a really cool thing where, because I've been a lifelong musician and I really appreciate that vibe. So what James Allen Steller does is he streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 9 o'clock to whenever, and he'll host independent musicians to show off their stuff, their music and stuff like that. It's a really cool vibe. So I'm going to be interviewing him on December 14th. Last month I interviewed Big Bald Ben, who's an indie musician and a close personal friend of mine. So yeah, I mean, I would love to bring on and just showcase some of the talent at the FDM community. So, more news to come on that, but I appreciate the kind of the endorsement. And you can find Snap at twitch.tv/Snappernickel. If you want to check out the stream team, it's twitch.tv/team/FDM. I appreciate that you set that up, Snap, because for me, there's just so many people out there, and at any given time I can go into that Team FDM, like the stream team thing, right? And I can just see who's live and just jump in, and if I got, I work from home, so like if I got, a half an hour to kill while I'm eating a microwaved burrito, like I can go in there and, oh, hey, Dr. Delicious is live. Let's jump in and, shoot the bull with Dr. Delicious or whoever. So fantastic. I appreciate the way that's set up. Yeah, so thanks for that. And a final shout out to the Reading Soda Company out of Reading, Pennsylvania. I love like craft sodas, and they just have so many. So if you see a Reading soda in your local grocery store, absolutely grab them. They're well known for their like cream sodas and stuff. This one is pumpkin spice soda, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's subtle, but it's a cream soda. And I've gone on and on about that. I'm a soda nerd. Like, I love brewing techniques and stuff like that. Who else? Shout out all the FDM legends that have come in, and I appreciate all of you. And again, most of all, Snap, again, from my heart to yours, really appreciate you clearing your schedule and sitting down in front of the microphone with me. So thank you for that.
Of course, man. Anytime, brother.
Appreciate that. All right, guys. Hope you have a wonderful week. Fluffy Radish is signing off.
Fluffy Radish is live tonight. Radish, fluffy loud, dreaming fun to hype the crowd. Here tonight, unleash the sound. Fluffy Radish breaking ground. Let's go. It's time for Fluffy Radish. Let's go. It's time for Fluffy Radish.